There's a moment that changes everything. And it's when you see $10,000 in your account for the first time. Look, it's not flashy. It won't change your lifestyle overnight. But what it does is it changes you. Suddenly, you're not just surviving, you're building. You start walking differently, thinking differently, because you've proven to yourself that you can take control of your money. And from there, everything starts to shift: your mindset, your habits, your decisions. Many believe it's the most important financial milestone you'll ever reach because at that point, doors begin to open, ones you didn't even know existed. And hey, maybe you're watching this with $800 in your account thinking this sounds really far off. Look, I get it. I've been there, but I promise, stick with me. This might shift how you see your own path moving forward. Let's be honest, 10K, it isn't retirement money, but what it is a turning point. So in this video, I'm going to break down 10 powerful ways your life begins to change after that first 10K. And if you stick with me to the end, I'll share one hidden reason that almost nobody ever talks about, but it might just be the most important shift of all. You shatter the first mental barrier. Ask anyone who's ever saved their first 10K. They'll tell you the hardest part wasn't the math. It was believing it was even possible in the first place. If you've never seen that kind of money before sitting in your account, it almost feels like it's meant for other people. People with high-paying jobs or perfect financial discipline. But honestly, that is furthest from the truth. You might even be shaking your head right now thinking, yeah, but I'm not one of those people who save. Listen, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to prove it to yourself just once. Because when you hit that first 10K, something clicks. You start realizing, wait a minute, I can do this. And you stop seeing yourself as someone who's just trying to get by, and you start seeing yourself as someone who can build. And that belief, it's powerful because once you prove it to yourself, even just once, it completely changes the way how you approach everything after that. Like I said earlier, 10K, it isn't financial freedom. You're not retiring off that. But what it does give you is confidence and a blueprint. That there is the real shift. So as an actionable step, I want you to open up your banking app and set real target dates for hitting 10K. I'm not talking about wish dates. I'm talking about realistic dates. And from there, I want you to reverse engineer how much per month you need. And I want you to write it down. So check out my video, How to Save 10K Effortlessly. I'll link it right here at the top right-hand corner. And honestly, I encourage you, check it out after this video. And from there, you start picking up speed because now you're not just saving anymore. What you're doing is you're beginning to build powerful financial momentum. Saving your first 1,000, it feels like a grind. Every 100 takes effort. But once you hit that 10K, something changes. You're no longer guessing anymore. You figured out what works. You've built some systems, and now, more importantly, you've proven to yourself that you can follow through. If you're feeling skeptical, wondering if this momentum stuff is even real, just think about any habit you've stuck with in the past. Saving, it works the same way. The more wins you stack, the easier it starts to get. Now, every dollar you save, it feels like progress instead of punishment. You're no longer trying to get out of a hole because now you're actually building something. And that momentum, it's real. Statistically, people who reach 10K are up to 3 times more likely to go on and save 100 grand. That's not magic. That's belief combined with momentum. Now you're still early on in your journey, but 10K, that gives you traction. That's that push that gets the snowball rolling down the hill. So as an actionable step, I want you to take a moment today to write down what systems helped you save your first 1,000. I want you to automate at least one of those, whether it's a scheduled transfer or some sort of reoccurring savings rule. But none of that momentum matters if one surprise expense can wipe that all out. But before we dive deeper, even if you've gotten a little bit of value so far out of this, do me a quick favor and help me reach 1,000 subscribers. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps the channel grow and it helps me keep making content like this that's real, practical, and designed for individuals like you who are trying to take their journey seriously. Let's be honest, you've probably seen a ton of money content online. If this one's resonating with you though, that's worth subscribing to. So to thank you, here's a picture of a pug. You can handle emergencies without using debt. Before 10K, an unexpected bill feels like a disaster. But after 10K, it starts to become just an inconvenience. Now, let's be honest. Life, it doesn't care how well you budget. Your car breaks down, your kid needs dental work, you lose hours at work. These things, they happen. And for millions of people, it's financially devastating. In fact, nearly half of Canadians and Americans say they couldn't even cover a $1,000 emergency without borrowing or using some sort of debt product. So I want you to be honest. When's the last time you looked at your bank balance and thought, if something hit me today, I'd be okay? Honestly, if you can't say that yet, that's why 10K matters even more. It becomes a game changer. It gives you breathing room, and emergencies, they don't feel like emergencies anymore. They just feel like bumps in the road and not barriers. You can take care of the problem and still sleep well at night. So as an actionable step, if you don't already have one, rename a part of your savings emergency fund and make it visual. Seeing it labeled reinforces its purpose and builds confidence. And the best part, that piece doesn't just affect your bank account. It changes the way you feel every single day, because now you start to break the cycle of financial anxiety. When it comes to money stress, it doesn't just affect your bank account. It weighs in on your mind and your health and your relationships. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, your brain never stops spinning. You're worried about whether rent or mortgage is going to clear. How are you going to make your next car payment? Whether your credit card will get declined at the grocery store, or whether one unexpected bill is going to undo everything. And if you've ever laid awake at night worrying about the bills or your cards getting declined, you know this isn't just about the numbers. This is about peace. Honestly, it wears on you, and studies back this up, because money is the number one source of stress in both Canada and the US, and is the leading cause of divorce. But once you have 10K in your bank, something shifts. You don't feel like you're in survival mode anymore. You're not just reacting. You're starting to respond calmly, thoughtfully, and with a plan. And when that kind of anxiety fades, it opens the door for everything else to improve. Your sleep, your mood, and your sense of control. So as an actionable step, I want you to choose one financial what if that keeps you up at night, and write down exactly how your current savings would handle it, because clarity reduces anxiety. And with that calm comes transparency, especially around your spending. You then begin to shift from a can I to a should I mindset. The thing is, when you're broke, every dollar is a question of survival. When you've got 10K, the question becomes, is it worth it? When money is tight, every decision feels like a risk. Should I buy this? Will I regret it? Will this set me back? But after 10K, your thinking, it evolves. And hey, maybe right now you're nodding your head, realizing you've been stuck in that can I mode for years. Shifting to a should I mode, it's a power move, and you'll feel it the first time you say it on purpose. Because you stop asking, can I afford this? And you start asking, should I spend my money here? The thing is, you're no longer surviving. It's about being intentional. You're no longer buying out of fear or pressure. You're making choices from a place of control. That's when you know your money is not running your life. You are. So as an actual step, before your next discretionary purchase, ask yourself, would future me be proud of this decision? Honestly, a 3-second pause can save you months of regret. And that same clarity starts to affect your time and your energy too, because now you start to say no to more money. Sounds strange, right? But honestly, hear me out. Having more money allows you the power to walk away from more of it. The thing is, when you're broke, you say yes to everything. The side jobs, the late night shifts, the low paying gigs, not because you want to, but because you have to. But once you've got that 10K saved, you start to think differently. You might laugh thinking, why would I give up more money? But trust me, having options is one of the biggest financial strengths. You begin to realize you don't have to take on every single opportunity. You can say no to things that drain you. You can start protecting your time. You can start choosing what aligns with your goals, not just what pays the fastest. That there is a whole different kind of wealth, because it's the ability to earn on your terms. So as an actionable step, I want you to think of one thing this week that you would normally say yes to just for the money. Instead, say no. And I want you to reclaim your time intentionally. And with more energy and clarity, you start building something with real momentum. You begin investing with confidence. You're no longer just stacking cash. You're starting to learn how to make your money work for you. The thing is, when you're living month to month, investing, it feels like a luxury. But once you hit that 10K, you finally have the space to start thinking long term. You're no longer scrambling, you're planning. Maybe you've been thinking, investing is too risky for me. I get it. But when you're no longer desperate for every dollar, risk, it feels completely different. And now you can start small with a TFSA or Roth IRA and start buying ETFs and index funds, maybe even some strategic individual dividend stocks. So as an actual step, if you haven't already, I want you to open up a TFSA or a Roth IRA, and even just with $100, buy your first ETF or index fund, because starting is more powerful than waiting for the perfect moment. Like they say, time in the market is more important than timing the market. And the more you build, the faster it all starts to come together, because now you start saving faster than you ever did before. Saving that first 10K might have felt like an absolute grind, but the next 10K, it starts to come together a lot quicker. The thing is, that first 10K teaches you the basics, how to budget, how to say no, how to delay gratification. You might be surprised how fast your savings, it accelerates once you get that ball rolling. People often tell me, I thought it would take forever, until it didn't, because now you've got structure, you've got systems, and you've got proof. Statistically, most people, they save twice as fast after hitting that first 10K. Why? Because they've stopped overthinking it. They've found the rhythm, and once saving becomes automatic, the results, they start to stack. So as an actionable step, I want you to increase your auto savings rate by 1%. Test it, see how it feels for a month, and if you don't notice anything, make it your new normal. Then I want you to rinse and repeat every month until you finally feel it. And with that momentum, you can finally start living with more joy, because now you can start creating a life with less guilt. Before 10K, every purchase feels like guilt. But after 10K, you'll learn how to spend without shame, because now you're doing it from a place of strength. You see, when money's tight, even little joys come with a side of guilt. A dinner out, a birthday gift, a weekend getaway. You start asking yourself, do I deserve this? You probably felt that guilt standing in the store, holding something that you want, and then feeling bad before you even swiped your card or paid cash. At 10K, you start to learn responsible spending is actually part of a healthy plan. But after 10K, you realize you can enjoy life and be responsible. You don't need to punish yourself for being good with money. That 10K, it gives you the confidence to spend when it matters without fear or guilt. And that, it's a huge win, because it means your money is finally working for your life, not the other way around. So as an actionable step, I want you to create a guilt-free spending category in your budget. Even if it's $50, label it something fun and use it with intention, not apology. But give yourself grace, because you need to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And here's the thing, once you find that balance, you start building with long-term purpose. Now, if you stayed till the end, here's that hidden reason I promised you at the very beginning of the video. This one, it doesn't get talked about enough. But if you understand it, it changes everything, because now you start to lay the foundation for true wealth. 10K, it isn't the finish line. But it is the moment where you stop surviving and you start thinking generational. This is the part almost no one tells you, because now you're no longer stacking numbers. You're becoming the kind of person who thinks generationally. And maybe right now, that's the part that you didn't even realize that you wanted. 10K, it doesn't make you rich. But what it does do is that it proves that you know how to build. You've got the habits, you've got the mindset, and you've got the long-term game in mind. Most people who reach 10K, they keep going. In Canada, they're 5 times more likely to start long-term planning. And in US, nearly 90% of savers keep building beyond that first milestone. Once you know how to save, you realize this isn't about hitting some magic number. 10K isn't the goal, it's the gateway. It's the foundation that you lay so everything that you build on top is on purpose and not panic. It's not freedom, but it is the first steps towards freedom. And that shift is how you think. Now that there is where the real wealth begins. Now as an actual step, I want you to write down your next milestone after 10K and also that one intentional habit that'll get you there faster. Honestly, your blueprint, it just got bigger. So if you're still working towards that first K, keep going. Every smart choice, every small sacrifice, every moment of discipline, it matters more than you think. And if you've already hit that milestone, I hope this is a reminder on just how far you've come and just how much is still possible from here. If this video spoke to you, even if in a small way, do me a huge favor and hit the like. Subscribe if you haven't already, and honestly, leave a comment. Seriously, I'd love to hear your story, even if it's just a small sentence. Scroll down below and tell me what changed after you hit your first 10K. This is Simply in the Black, helping you stare the red and into the black for good. Until next time, stay focused, stay consistent, and stay in the black. I'll see you guys in the next one. Now, if you're wondering how to reach that first 10K faster, don't worry, I got you covered. So check out my video, How to Save 10K Effortlessly. I'll link it right here.